But Erik, why is he wrong? Poor countries do this stuff. Isn't this the way they just move up in the world?
Well, I think that there's a kind of a fatalism among people that think that because there's a path of development, right? The U.S. it starts out, we have these factories and they're really terrible and people die in them, and then people get angry, they organize, eventually standards of living go up, and countries don't have to have these kind of safety conditions anymore. But I want to make a couple of points around that, because I think that there is a problem by saying that a nation has to go in this way. I mean, there's this sense that international labor is there to be exploited by multinational corporations, and that multinational corporations have no obligation to the workers in their employer who they're getting who they're subcontracting to ensure safety, because they're providing them a job. And outside of that, no knowledge is needed from the multinational perspective of any kind of reality about what the conditions are, et cetera. And there's no real reason that has to be that way.
Erik, I just gotta jump in here. It's not to say that there are no standards. It's just that they're lower standards, and they're lower standards because that helps make them competitive.
Well, Bangladesh has labor laws. They have laws. They're just not enforced. And so, what we need is to have basic safety laws that are applicable internationally, not that different from, say, child labor laws, child slavery laws, other kinds of international codes which nations more or less follow. That, as far as the issue of being competitive goes, there's many ways for a nation like Bangladesh to be competitive, right? I mean, the labor they offer is going to be less expensive. Wage rates are going to be lower. Their environmental restrictions are much looser. I mean, there's many ways that a nation like Bangladesh, a nation like China, many nations have competitive advantages when it comes to manufacturing. One so-called competitive advantage they don't need is for the buildings to collapse around them, because it is incredibly inexpensive to implement basic worker safety. A decent building, a fire door, a welder's mask, ventilation, these cost multinational corporations almost nothing to implement.